fun facts. I don't know. These are in no specific order, but some things I was thinking about. You know, one of my students was really freaked out because he had a big role on a show. He went to watch the show, and there's like, he's not in it at all. Listen, it happens. It is not personal. If you get cut out of a show, don't worry about it. Just keep moving on. You got the credit, you got your money, you got the job. There's all kinds of factors that you have no control over, and it's not personal 9 out of 10. It's never personal, actually. It just isn't. So don't worry. I mean, I know it's hard because you're putting your ass out there and then you like invite a viewing party to come and watch you. And it's not hard. I mean, that's really mortifying, but it's not personal. Okay, number 2. This is a mix and match of some business stuff and some really in-depth ways of thinking about yourself. Kids, I had an epiphany when I was shooting. Listen. Part of being alive and part of being a creative is to go through periods of boredom. So you have to also just see this you have to see it on both sides. But the thing to me about boredom, we have to be very, very careful of, especially because of those GD phones, is you have to look at and see when you get bored in life, it is really turning into a distraction that is distracting you from what it is that you really need to be doing. And you're too scared to do it, so you keep falling back into that vicious feedback loop of distraction, i.e. boredom, i.e. self-loathing, i.e. I'm now stuck in the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter wormhole, and then 3 hours have gone by, and then you are upset with yourself because there's no forward-moving momentum. So what if you just cut that time in a third, and it's the time you're spending that's perpetuating a state of boredom and an abyss, you actually just started to take action towards something. I'm going to lead to that in a minute. Number 3, working on set made me realize this. Making movies requires cheats, but you have to have your work in order. It is really all about the work. I cannot tell you that it is about the work. Now all of you might be like, well, why do Instagram models get jobs? Listen, in the big scheme of things, it's really about the work. And you can cheat your way out of some things some of the time, but not all the time. And I think what's interesting working on projects is you see like there are definitely things that happen that when things get cut together, looks like it builds performance, but ultimately that sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with performance. But what was interesting is when I was working on this, because I cast a couple people on Wednesday night who were Spanish speaking and older, and the woman who was supposed to do it got another job. I had 12 hours, and we were shooting in Iowa, so I had 12 hours to recast this with somebody else at the studio who also spoke Spanish and fulfilled kind of being a young mom. And so the woman ended up doing it, like she had 12 hours to prepare and she came and did it. But before she said yes, in Iowa they were sending me tapes of other people who would maybe do it for me, who were auditioning for the role. And I was like, I can't do it. Because the self-tapes were like this. Please leave. Go, Pedro, go. Watch out. Now, I'm not making fun of them, I am a little bit, but my point is you're not going to get a job if that's what your acting is about, because no director can be teaching while they're on set and moving that quickly. It's just, nobody has that kind of time. So I had a panic attack. I was like, well, I work with actors, of course I can do it, but nobody wants to do that. So you have to have a modicum of your shit together. Just get your acting together. 90 percentile, which is most of you, so that's also maybe a side part, which is you have more things going on than you realize, that you have to stop sweating the stuff that doesn't always work. In the audition, not getting a call back, sometimes you book, sometimes you don't. It's not personal, it's not an indictment against you in your work. Got it? Number 4, never start a sentence with I can't, I never, it's always I don't. You gotta change your story about it. Think about it. I never get a boyfriend. Or it's always happening to her and not to me. Why? Why are you perpetuating? That's a lie. First of all, you should ask yourself, really? Have you never, ever, 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 ever received the thing that you keep saying you never have done? That's the first thing. And then if some of you could say, well, yes, Tony, I've never had a boyfriend. Maybe that's one of your things that you are always like, I never get a boyfriend, or I never get the good guy. Okay, well, why did you change that attitude? I mean, it's that simple. Just stop saying it. Could you just move to something else that actually makes a little bit more sense? I am, I can, I will, it's working out. Just change the optics, people. You got to move from a closed system. You got to be aware of the stories you're telling yourself that are finite. The last I looked, we live in an infinite universe. The last I looked. Number 5. Instagram is the new resume. Get over it. I'm tired of hearing about all the bitching about, well, I don't have enough Twitter followers. Then get them. Just do your best. Don't worry about it if you only have one Twitter follower. But everybody started with one, and then it became a million. Don't worry about it. You'll get them. And you have to just stop freaking out about it. Why are all these Instagram celebrities getting roles that I should be getting? Stop it. Listen, the Instagram is the 2015 version of a resume. It's just a new thing, a part of it. You don't freak out that you have to have a headshot. Can you imagine maybe when they started having to do headshots in the 1950s or whenever that was? Oh my God! Why do we have to have headshots? Maybe. See, it's all the same thing with just a different window dressing. Don't worry about it. Do your best you can to fulfill the things that the business is asking for you, but don't. I think it's time that we just had a new conversation and stop denigrating that some people break through because they have 10 million followers, and you're so concerned that all the executives are always saying, I'm going to compare you to somebody who has 10 million followers and you don't, you're not going to get the job. You don't know that that's the case. You don't know. That's not factual. Now that may sometimes happen, but again, that's finite and that's not the only way. Huh? Got it? That's a new way to think. It feels better than, however you would say, I was going to say something really naughty, but I'm not going to say it. Okay? No, I'm not going to say it.